Welcome, everybody. Everybody's chatty this morning.
Including us.
I'd like to welcome you to our work session of April 5th. We'll call this meeting to order. And Nikki, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely, Mayor. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Nikki. All right, we have a couple of presentations this morning. First up is our Arbor Day proclamation. I will turn that over to Commissioner Twaronga.
Well, who do we have here for Arbor Day?
Craig.
Craig Wilson.
Craig Wilson.
Oh, let me see, who would that be? Craig, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Here we go, one of your favorite days.
Yeah.
Your birthday is as well, I'm sure. Arbor Day 2022. Whereas Arbor Day is a special day set aside for the planting of trees and was first celebrated on April 10, 1872, with the planting of 1 million trees. And whereas the planting of trees for the future sets Arbor Day apart from other commemorative holidays and sets the city of Dunedin apart as a community committed to the preservation of the environment. And whereas organized efforts of the city of Dunedin and the contributions of hundreds of individuals have allowed trees to be planted in the parks and public areas of the city of Dunedin. And whereas the city of Dunedin places great importance on being designated a Tree City, USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the 33rd year.
Oh, my gosh.
Now therefore I, John Twaronga, by the virtue of the authority invested in me from the mayor of the city of Dunedin, Florida, and on behalf of the entire city commission, do hereby proclaim the observation of Saturday, April 9, 2022 as Arbor Day 2022 in Dunedin, and urge all Dunedin citizens to attend the tree giveaway, which begins at 8 a.m. on Saturday, April 9th at the Achieva Credit Union corporate headquarters located at 1659 Achieva Way.
And if it's all right, I'd like to go through a short PowerPoint presentation of some of the trees we're giving away, and if anyone has any questions at the end, I'll be happy to answer them. So this year is our 2022 Arbor Day tree giveaway, and as usual, we'll be hosting it at Achieva Credit Union headquarters. It's located at 1659 Achieva Way. The event begins at 8 a.m., and we're giving away 2 free trees to Dunedin residents while supplies last. We've increased the number of varieties this year and increased the total of trees being given away. And 12 of the 13 varieties are Florida native trees, and they range anywhere from shade trees to ornamental trees, flowering to non-flowering, evergreen to deciduous. So the first tree that I'm talking about is an American elm. It's native. It does lose its leaves in the fall, but it has a really nice, pretty flower. And there's not very many left in Dunedin, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to reincorporate it back into our urban canopy. There's only 2 or 3 that I've seen left. The bald cypress is pretty iconic here in Dunedin. There's a larger one right across the street from City Hall, located between curb and sidewalk, and it's a great example of many people think that they only grow near waterways and they produce those knees or roots, but they'll grow well in dry sites once established.
Is that the current City Hall or is that the new City Hall?
The one we're sitting in today, the current one. So right across the street on Main Street, you'll see a bald cypress located between curb and sidewalk that's been there for many years and doing well.
Thank you.
Common persimmon, I brought this into the mix because it does produce an edible fruit, sometimes can be astringent, but it's still an edible fruit that wildlife appreciate, and it's another shade tree that does well in kind of moist situations, so if you have a wet yard, it'll do well. The Muskogee crepe myrtle is the only crepe myrtle we're giving away. We used to give away 2 different varieties. Now we're only giving away 1, and we've reduced that quantity to try to focus on more native trees. But we did substitute other trees that do flower that are native. The fringe tree is a tree that we did substitute for the white crepe myrtle. It does well under the understory of large live oaks, filtered or dappled light. And it blooms right around Easter time or Mother's Day, and it's pretty much a showstopper. The red cedar is native to the area. It's evergreen, and it's a very low-maintenance tree. If someone's looking for a tree to produce shade and it's low maintenance, this is the one. The red maple is known for its showy fall foliage, and it also is attractive to a lot of wildlife and birds. Walter's viburnum was another add or a substitution this year to kind of recoup some of the flowering trees that we have lost that were not native. This is an excellent refuge for wildlife. It produces prolific flowers this time of year, so the pollinators love it, and then when it does produce a berry, the birds love it as well. The southern live oak is probably the most popular tree that we have in Dunedin. It has high wind resistance. And in our Fairway Estates neighborhood, we have the second largest oak in Pinellas County. And there's also a pretty epic one outside of the chamber here as well.
Yeah.
And lastly, southern slash pine is native to this area. That's where Pinellas received its name from, was all the pines at the point of Pinellas. It's a very valuable tree for large birds of prey. And it's highly underutilized, and I would love to see more of these planted. And I lied, the last 2 would be Dahoon holly, which is another wildlife attractor and a Florida native understory tree, and southern magnolia, which is also a high wind resistance tree. It produces a very nice white, large, fragrant flower and is the official tree of the city of Dunedin. That's the gamut of what we're giving away this weekend, 8 a.m., Saturday, April 9th at Achieva Credit Union headquarters. We hope to see everyone there, and I'd like to take this time to thank our Parks and Recreation Department staff and our Public Services staff, as well as all of you here for your continued commitment to our urban tree canopy and kind of the culture we have here in Dunedin. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. Any questions for Craig?
You know, I got my red maple. I love it. You know, I got that several years ago. You looked at it and you said, it's trying to split off in too many directions. It needs to go up, and it's just going right along. I do have a real question.
Sure.
Passion vine, is that indigenous?
There is one variety that is.
The red?
Yeah. The
red?
bulk of them are not. No, the red is not.
Okay,
So.
just curious. Okay, thank you. I love that we're going to more indigenous trees and, yeah.
Well, and Craig, we so appreciate your vast knowledge, and it's going to really come in helpful it's already coming in helpful with the GDP. I mean, you were a significant part of that, helping tour people and your knowledge. You don't really know it until you hear him start talking. And he comes out with all these Latin-sounding words. It's like, really? That's what that's called? No, you do a great job, and we really appreciate it. And thanks for promoting this.
Thank you.
Mayor, I
Appreciate
do
it.
have one question if I
Sure.
can. Greg, on the Walters viburnum, can you make a hedge out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. It can go one of 2 ways. Typically, it is growing more as a hedge. But I'd say over the last 5 or 10 years, a lot of nurseries have been training them to grow into trees, more of an ornamental tree. So you can use as an accent. But yeah, traditionally it is a hedge, and it's a great little refuge for smaller birds and small mammals to kind of hide out in and evade birds of prey, so to speak.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
It's really a pretty one.
Yeah, that was really
Very
pretty.
Yeah, it looks like dogwood. It sort of reminded me.
Very similar, yep.
Thank you very much, Craig. Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure, thank you.
I had a couple of announcements that I forgot. I know we have another presentation, but hang on one second. So Mo is not going to be here today because she is at the Resiliency Summit at the Tampa Bay Planning Council. Yes, that's what it's called? Okay. So we do need to do a motion to excuse her absence.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Thank you. And then also I forgot to mention that Nikki has an announcement under city attorney updates, and Commissioner Twanga has a commission discussion item.
I have one too. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I didn't see it until I saw Facebook yesterday.
Gotcha. Okay. Our next presentation is the National Library Week. I will turn that over to Commissioner Vice Mayor Kynes.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Phyllis, she's got her book dress on.
The Dewey Decimal System.
Oh, my gosh. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that foster a sense of connection and build community. And whereas libraries connect people to technology, providing access to broadband internet, computers, and training that are critical for accessing education and employment opportunities. And whereas libraries offer opportunities for everyone to connect with new ideas and become their best selves through access to multimedia content, programs, and classes, in addition to books. And whereas today's libraries and their services extend far beyond the four walls of a building, and everyone is welcome to use their resources. And whereas in times of crisis, libraries and library professionals play an invaluable role in supporting their communities, both in person and virtually. And whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. And whereas to adapt to our changing world, libraries are expanding their resources and continuing to meet the needs of their patrons. And whereas libraries have long served as trusted and treasured institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. And whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. And whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Now, therefore, I, Deborah Kynes, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the mayor of the city of Dunedin, Florida, Julie Ward Bujalski, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim April 3rd through the 9th, 2022, as National Library Week, and encourage all residents to connect with their library by visiting online or in person to access resources and services. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We are so fortunate in Dunedin with the Commission's support and our community's support. Our library is celebrated every day, so we thank you for your support. Our library goes above and beyond to keep our community connected by expanding resources and embracing inclusion in our programming, resources, and collections. And today just happens to be the Tuesday of Library Week, is always National Library Workers Day. So I want to recognize our amazing staff at the Dunedin Public Library. I am fortunate to work with them every day, and I want to thank them for their hard work, their expertise, and dedication. They're top-notch, and we're so fortunate to have such a great staff. So I encourage our community. You can visit us online 24/7, and you can visit us in person. We're open 6 days a week with lots of great programming, online resources, a wonderful bookstore, and just great support from our community. So thank you for all that you do for our Dunedin Library.
Thank you.
I know that all of you already know this, but perhaps those watching do not know that Phyllis Gorshey is the president of the Florida Library Association.
That is wow.
She represents us very, very well.
That's awesome.
Very well
Thank you for doing
deserved.
that. I know that's a lot of extra work during your normal busy time, so thank you very much. Okay. All right. We'll move on to citizen input. Anybody wishing to come forward and speak to any item that's not already on the agenda? Okay, we'll go to consent agenda. We have the approval of the minutes for March 8th and March 10th, board and committee appointments to Arts and Culture and the Firefighters Pension Fund, Justice Plaza parking lot lease renewal, Cinco de Mayo revocable license agreement, the Tyler ERP change order, and the fiscal year 22 cybersecurity training. Are there any items to be pulled?
Mayor, can we pull 2C, the Justice Plaza?
Gotcha. Anything else? Okay. Can I have a motion to approve everything but Justice Plaza?
So moved.
Okay, Vice Mayor, is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Tornga, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, Justice Plaza, you guys are good back there? Okay, Justice Plaza, what, did you just have a question on it, or?
Just a quick demonstration on it, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, a presentation, you mean?
If we could just talk about it, the reason I had it pulled was because we talk about transportation, we talk about parking, we talk about
Right.
multimodal, we talk about the number of cars coming in as far as tourism, and just, I think it's important that the residents know how much money we're spending on parking.
Sure, okay.
Certainly, Mayor, Commissioners, Bob Ironsmith, Economic Development Director. Obviously, we have numerous parking pieces downtown. We're extremely popular downtown. It continues to see more visitors and tourists come down. The lot there, Justice Plaza, is over there on the west end, which is a key lot for us. We currently, as far as overall cost, this is parking in total, we pay close to about $250,000 to secure parking in the downtown. That includes leases and some maintenance and things like that. The Justice Plaza lot is, we negotiated at $40,000, which is in line with our other leases. And of course, land values and in general, inflation, things have increased over the years. But yeah, there's a considerable commitment by the city toward providing for public parking. In addition to this lot, of course, we're, as the Commission is well aware of, we're looking to bring on the old Mies Materials, the old post office, additional parking there. Baycare has been a huge partner with us. And the Wood Street parking lot, which is in conjunction with City Hall, which will also be open to the public, you know, after 5 during the week, our peak times, on weekends. That's currently under construction for a couple months. Will be open probably in the mid-late summer of this year. So, does that cover it, Commissioner?
It does, and I would ask that in any future items like this that come before, that also we always have a running total of, for all the parking we have in downtown or in Dunedin that we're paying for, that, so the public is always aware of all the money
Sure.
that is going towards parking.
Yeah, and just to, you know, not to get too much with the numbers, but about $250,000, and it's a considerable percentage of the overall community redevelopment TIF money that we bring downtown. So it is a huge commitment. It is our biggest commitment, is really providing parking.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions on this item? Okay, can I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Okay, Commissioner Gao,
Second.
Vice Mayor Kynes, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. Okay, and Jennifer, I know that probably not on any of the things under consent agenda, but I do know that you have spoken with Commissioner Franny on all these items. So anytime you want to pipe up to give her feedback, feel free.
That would probably be during aid organizations.
That's what I'm figuring, but just in case. Okay, we'll move on to our action items. We have a postponement request for the renewal of the recyclable collection. It's been requested to be postponed to April 19th. Can I have a motion to postpone?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Tornga and Vice Mayor Kynes. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion passes 4-0. Then we have the proposed agenda for April 19th. I did take a look at it. I should have pulled it up. I'm sorry.
You know,
Give me a second.
Mayor, I did notice the Jerry Lake acquisition is on that.
Yes,
That's going to be
Yeah.
a biggie.
yeah, it'll be our sales contract, and I think that's what Nikki wants to talk to us under her. Update.
No, that's a different update, but no, that's the purchase and sale agreement is on your upcoming agenda for the 19th.
Okay, I thought that's what you wanted to talk to us about.
It's the historic.
Oh, that's right. No, we talked about it.
That's
Gotcha.
okay. But yeah, that's correct, Mayor. That will be the purchase and sale agreement for the Jerry Lake property, which we've already sent some tweaks to SwiftMud, and they've agreed to it, and we're just working on getting some final estimates from the title company so that you all have a complete agenda memo.
Great.
That was fast.
I know,
I like it.
I know.
What'd she say?
And nothing is
so
ever
fast.
fast with government, so that's pretty good.
You're the only one that gets one, Joe.
But, okay, yeah, I think we're good. We don't have any workshop items on this agenda, right?
We don't, Mayor.
Nothing you want to add?
No. Not right now.
Gotcha. Okay. Looks like it'll be a good meeting for commission discussion items then.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Can I have a motion to approve that agenda with the addition of the recycling contract?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor and Commissioner Gal, thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 4-0. All right, so now we have our ARPA nonprofit organization grant update. The purpose of this discussion, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jennifer, is you're looking to get buy-in on the process that you've subscribed, that you're going to subscribe to, and then you will then take it from there, and it'll be an administrative process.
Populate the details, yes.
Yep, okay. All right, so I think we have somebody online,
We
right?
do. We have Matt Hansen from Widow Bryan
Okay.
on Zoom.
Hey, Matt.
Morning, Mayor, Commission members.
Okay, we're going to let, I guess, Leslie open it up.
Thank you, Mayor.
It's just been a while since we put that out there. Figured we needed to do it again.
Good morning, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. Les Tyler, the Finance Director. This workshop item is an update of the city's Dunedin's ARPA nonprofit organizational grant program. And Matt Hansen's with us on Zoom, as we just mentioned. I'd like to provide some brief background. On February 8th, 2022, the City Commission gave staff direction to allocate up to $550,000 of ARPA funds to nonprofit organizations to assist with impacts from COVID-19 pandemic. We're in the process of working to develop this 2022 ARPA grant application. We've been working with Widow Bryan and Matt and his team. Our grant will be similar to the Florida Humanities 2021 grant application. Our grant will require much less information than that grant did, but it will be similar in the fact that the grant awards we plan to be based on the fiscal year 2019 operating budget for each nonprofit, and that's consistent with how that grant application was awarded. The grant requests and awards will be up to a maximum of $25,000 per nonprofit or 10% of their organization's 2019 pre-pandemic total operating budget, whichever's less. I'd like to briefly go over some key milestones that are in the staffing report, kind of where we're at and kind of where we're going with this program. The staff's been working with O'Brien to prepare the grant application, and we're projected to have it completed by the end of April. The expectation is that the grant will be posted on our website on May 2nd, which is a Monday. Applicants will have 30 days to complete the grant application and return forms back to the city. We will also do outreach online as well as our city website to announce the grant program for nonprofits. We'll be working with Sue Burness, our communications director, to do that. Attachment 1 in the staffing report is an estimated timeline we've included, starting with today's meeting and direction from City Commission. And then also we are kind of go through the process of the timing of when grants come in and when awarded by the commission, and then when the beneficial agreements actually go out to the nonprofits. Once the grant applications are received by the city, city staff will forward all the applications to Widow Bryan, and Widow Bryan will be reviewing the applications and determining the awards. Widow Bryan will send a draft recommendation list with the proposed grant recipients, dollar amounts for each grant for staff to review. The total grant awards cannot exceed $550,000, and any amount over that may result in reductions of the grant amounts proportionally to each nonprofit. The City ARP Nonprofit Grant Review Team, which consists of the city manager, the finance director, myself, and also the library director, Phyllis George, will review the proposed grant applications that the grant awards that we received from Witt O'Brien, and we will, once we're satisfied with those, staff will bring that ARPA grant award recommendation to the City Commission, and we're estimating that to be July 26th or July 28th timeframe. Once approved by the City Commission, the ARPA grant awards will be issued through beneficiary agreements for each nonprofit. They'll require the DUNS number and the SAMS registration as the same as the special events did. However, the beneficiary agreement is much less involved than the subrecipient agreements that we just went through, so these will be easier for the nonprofits to respond to and work with the city. We're anticipating it to be a 4-page document, the beneficiary agreement with key federal terms and guidelines that are required for the ARPA funding. The beneficiary agreements will be completed by temporary help. Our plan is to have our city finance department staff will assist with the agreements, but the majority of the work we're planning to be done by temporary help with also assistance from Witt O'Brien as necessary. The total estimated costs for Witt O'Brien's to review the grant applications and determine the grant awards for the program and assist with questions on the beneficiary agreements is estimated to be $45,000. That's well below our contract. Our contract with them is about $361,000, but that's their estimate. A lot of it depends on how many applications we get, obviously. We're not really sure how many we will receive. The grant application will be asking for financial information from each nonprofit, and we'll be asking for their 2019 budget pre-COVID. The grant will also ask detailed questions about the fiscal impact of COVID-19 for each nonprofit, and also some information on their 21 and 22 budgets as well. Payments will be issued as a lump sum distribution on a rolling basis as beneficiary agreements are signed and completed, working with the nonprofits and any other necessary paperwork that is received. Just want to mention again, the beneficiary agreements that we're putting together will reduce the administrative burden for the nonprofits, and also with this, there's no monitoring afterwards, and also there's a lot of reporting that is required that will not be with these agreements. So we'll simplify things, we feel.
Thank you.
That concludes our comments, and any questions, please let me know.
So first thing, it's Phyllis Gorshie,
Gorshie.
not Phyllis George.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about George.
I mean, there is a Phyllis George.
Sorry, thank you.
I'll take Gorshie over George any day. You didn't even blink over there. I looked right at you. It was like, it was so funny. And we all looked up at each other like, what? George?
You threw him off with a Leslie, that's.
I know. Okay. Questions?
Yes, thank you. You mentioned a budget, and I think you said 46. I've got 42 somehow locked in my head. I don't know why. 46 for Witt O'Brien. And then and I know in my agenda review, we talked about some temporary help. So we're giving, so this potential giveaway could be as much as $550,000. And so we know there could be a potential of $46,000. And how much more? Because there's no budget for the temporary, I assume that's a small.
Temporary help, I'm estimating, would be probably about $16,000 to $20,000 in that estimate, depending on how long we need the temp help, but I would estimate $16,000 to $20,000.
And we're actually, if I may, Mayor, we're actually hoping to use that temp help for other ARPA-related issues as well as necessary.
Is this part of the 45 or 46?
No.
Okay, that's over and above.
It's over.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and the estimate from, and Matt can talk to this too, the estimate from WIT, I think, is assuming we get quite a few applications, and I don't think it'll be more than 45, but it could be less too, yeah.
So we're looking
Mayor,
at
commission
potential
members,
expense.
just to be clear, this is within the existing Witt O'Brien's contract, so this is new dollars. So we're under a time and materials agreement with the city. So this would be within that original $361,000 that we're already under contract to do more.
Okay, so it's not new money.
No,
It's not new money, that's correct.
Yeah, gotcha.
included in the admin.
Anything else, John?
Well put, sir. I appreciate you clarifying that, should someone be listening and not realize that it's within. Thank you. I'm
Question?
So it's going to be 10% of their pre-COVID 2019 budget is what the asking amount is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, well,
Up to.
Up to
up to that.
Up to 10%
Up to 10%, right.
of the pre-COVID. Okay.
Let's-
So may I clarify, Mayor?
Yeah.
So it's up to 10% of the pre-COVID, but not more than 25,000 per
Okay, yes,
nonprofit.
yes.
That said, if we have you've set aside $550,000. If we get numerous applications that exceeds that $550,000, we're going to have to drop the percentage. The point is, everybody is going to get something.
It's just going to depend on the volume.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. But they do have the parameters of it's up to 10%, not more than 25,000.
Correct.
No questions.
And so, Jennifer, I would assume that within those parameters, we're going to be saying, and if we're not, then I think we should at least say that this is for Dunedin nonprofits, because, or things that are, based here, because Clearwater will have their own money to give, and
Right.
the county will have their money to give. So if it's not based in Dunedin, I think that's where the money needs to go.
And that's a very good point, Mayor.
Because, the less, if you're taking them, then everybody gets less.
Right, correct. And some of those organizations, given they're countywide, they have huge budgets
Right.
as well. And
Right.
so, and Commissioner Franey brought up that exact same point as
Right.
well, that she was very concerned if we had region-wide, not-for-profits that contribute within the city of Dunedin, that budget will be gone very, very quickly.
Yeah, and I think it needs to be something that's based in our city. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Yes.
Yes, I
So,
totally agree.
and so in discussions that Les had with Matt, the first round, what we'd be looking at is either a physical address or headquartered within the city of Dunedin.
Right.
And we'll see how that goes. We're going to have to report back to you on exactly where we are with this program. If we, for some reason, have funds left over, which I don't think we will, but then we would bring something back to you to consider additional expenditures for not-for-profits. But, and we're going to have to work more on that definition, what headquartered in Dunedin means and that
Yeah.
type of a thing, to really nail that down.
Headquartered and certainly service.
Yes. That said,
But I think most are service to Dunedin.
I know that there are going to be situations that are going to come up that we haven't thought of, but we'll deal with them on an individual basis.
All that being said, it would seem to me like, as almost like an operating division, somebody should be able to split out somewhat what happened in 2019 as it relates to Dunedin, and I think that should be a requirement, it would seem. It would be very helpful to you to know that, rather than them giving you a gross, or a huge, I don't mean a huge, an overlapping budget that would have included other areas, I think we ought to ask them to at least give us an idea of what that would be in Dunedin, so that you don't have to sit and ponder. Or you just have to ponder whether you think it's correct, but. Thank you.
Okay.
I have one more question. Since we're talking about this, Jennifer, are we able to sort of actually see how the county is going to affect mental health? Because when we talked about this, we said we're not going to put it under our ARPA grants, because we heard from people when we did our open sessions, and you said that the county was going to handle that particular issue. So are we aware of what they're going to be doing, or can we see how?
You guys are working on that, right? Because you want to put it out on our website
Right, and
and
communicate
social
that,
media or
yeah.
whatever, right?
And there are some aspects of the not-for-profits within Dunedin that deal with that too, that would.
Sure.
Right. So, but yeah, we are interacting with the county. We haven't, put that list down or pushed it out yet, but we certainly will do that.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay, anybody wish to come forward and speak from the public? All right, can I get some consensus anything else you want to add, Matt? You good?
I'm good, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, So I want to get consensus direction.
I have it. You have it.
Yep.
Very good.
John, myself, and I think Mo would probably be. Any final comments? I'll start with you, Vice Mayor.
Well, I mean, it's a great opportunity, though, you know, what I'm sort of concerned about is that maybe they're being able to show that 10% was 100,000, but it's not going to make any difference because you only get 25.
Correct, maximum 25.
So, I mean, they may be able to show a much greater loss than the
Yes.
capability for us to completely fill that, and I think they should know that going in.
Right.
It's 10%, 25,000, whichever is less.
Right. I think and I know you're very aware of how the Humanities Council handled
Oh,
their.
they're
And I
great.
think this was really a smart way to do it, because, and, you know, that's how Vinny got his money, you know, but it was based on how much money they had and a percent loss, which takes, it takes the emotion out of it. So if we don't have enough to cover everybody, well, then maybe everybody gets 9%,
Right.
you know, across the board, or 8% across the board, you know, depending on how many requests that we get. And I just think it was the smartest thing, and I'll be honest, you know, besides our normal you know, Art Center and Historical Society, I wish we could come up with this same kind of formula for our aid.org, where it takes the emotion out of it, you know, and all the presentations and all the things, you know, here's how much money we have. You know what I'm saying? I wish there was some non-emotional, because as you know, we spend probably more time on that one issue than any other of our the hundreds of $120, $130 million budget. And it's only 140,000 or 145,000. You know what I'm saying? So I would love to see you all come up with some other non-emotional way of managing it. And I understand that a couple of them are different, you know, and all that, but I just,
We have had that discussion.
yeah.
Maybe you're going to see how the Florida Humanities module works.
Right.
And that might be a very good module as you go into the aid to orgs in our budget hearing. Because it's very clean, they've done it for all these years.
Right.
It comes down from the National Endowment, from the Humanities, the module. So,
And everybody's not competing with each other.
It's-
I've got this big project this year, or you know, it's just some formula would be wonderful, because this, to me, feels so good. You know, we're
It's
not.
clean.
It's very clean, and the larger organizations aren't going to have lost more than the smaller ones. So to take it based on that, you know, now with the aid.org, you're not looking at loss as much as you'll be looking at something else, but still some percentage, so that it's fair, because the bigger organizations should probably get a little bit more because they're bigger, you know.
And Mayor, and we have this question a lot, aid to organizations is still in play.
I know.
And right on the tail of this
I
as
know.
well, so.
I know, and that'll be the other thing I think we have to worry about. Not worry, but what we don't want, and I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you never know. What we don't want is if someone, for whatever reason, is, you know, not happy with what they're getting from this pot, they might try to make it up in the other pot, and we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. You know, again, I don't feel like it is, but you never know what people might do, and we just have to be aware of it. I'm just really glad that you've got a Widow Bryan, you know, you're going to have somebody,
expert.
yeah, you know, looking at these things, making sure they've got all their documentations, and looking at it from a very, you know, high level, and not jaded in any way of which one should get more. You know, we don't want to be playing that game. We just want to fairly assess and fairly give the money to what it was originally designed to do.
They've done this at other cities too, so they've got a lot of experience.
That's great. That really is good.
I also wanted to mention real quick that we plan on doing, as soon as it's rolled out, to add clarity for the applicants, we're going to do frequently asked questions and also a webinar, so we can answer questions early on in the process. Just want to mention that.
And as you said, you guys are going to make sure this is as simple as it can be, right?
Yes.
And I'm convinced that you get that.
It's hard for bureaucrats to do that, but we'll.
Well, you know,
If you can, you know, if you can make it difficult instead of simple, come on, we got to do it, right?
Yeah, we'll make it simple.
well, the KISS method, there you go. I had to think about that.
So Mayor, I just wanted to, before you move on, if I could, just talk a little bit about the ARPA funding as far as your front-facing and what you've pushed out into the community. So far, you've put $400,000 into special events, and we are writing those checks now. And the special events, as you know, have been very, very well populated. This $550,000 gets you up to $950,000, plus the marketing. So you're almost up to $1 million right now, pushed directly into the community of the ARPA funding. And there will be more when we do our capital projects. But I remember when we first started the pandemic, we were talking about $100,000 set aside, $200,000 set aside. But I think that your use of this funding for the community to seed those special events and now directly to not-for-profits is a really good use of the ARPA funding as we recover from the pandemic and not kind of devolve into it, if you will. So.
Well, and based on what you just said about the special events, if you'll indulge me, I was going to do this under commission discussion or commission comments, but I wanted to tell you, because I did text back and forth with Eric from Highland Games. So I asked him what was end result, you know, does he have any stats to give us? So he said, I asked him how they did and, you know, what did they make and all that. He said we had almost 7,000 people, including competitors and clans in attendance. It was a bigger day than 2019.
Wow.
Oh, great.
Huge crowds on Friday, of course,
Wonderful.
as we saw Friday night. They were still working on tallying the numbers, but it would appear that they had over 200,000 in gross income, excluding grants from city and VSPC.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what that compares to. He didn't give me a comparison number, but his exclamation point on his text saying, "This is really good."
I think that was about $50,000, the city grant, and then the.
Right. They got 25
Right.
from us, but that's, the 200,000 gross
Right.
is besides
Yeah.
the grant. So that money, as everybody knows, gets given directly to, you know, besides what they have to do to keep their events going, to our middle school, our high school, and our city bands. City band who, you know, will be going to Glasgow this year, next year, trying to compete for grade 1 world champions. So I just, when he told me that, I really, you know, I got goosebumps because it's just an example of how this grant really is working. And I would tell you that the merchants, same thing. They had exponentially more people than they expected. And even the problems that they were having getting vendors, I mean, everybody was very happy. And so I think that that was one of the really cool things that we could just directly infuse right into the community and have an immediate result for everybody and let everybody relax and try to get their events going. So I'm pretty proud of that. Okay, you got your direction you need. That was really quick.
Thank you.
Yeah, Jorge, you don't want to throw another workshop item in here? Okay. All right, we'll go to informational items. And we have commission discussion, and I know Commissioner Tonga had something he wanted to talk with us about.
Thank you. I was going to do this last week or the week before, and I chose not to do it, although I was not happy with that decision that I made, but Mo wasn't here.
And now
Mo's
she's not here.
again.
Well, do you want to hold off? or-
No, I can't. No, it's time. Got to do it. Thank you. So I wanted to talk about transportation within Dunedin, a very near and dear subject to me. Transportation in general is, as everyone knows, and safety and security is a priority for me, not only in transportation, but everything else. So I'm just going to go through some just generalities here so you can see what it is that I might be talking about or that I very directly am speaking about. So you'll get your opinions, and then I'll try to sum it up a little bit. And then perhaps we can talk a little bit, if that's good. I titled this Dunedin Rides. You know, we have Dunedin Cares, and of course, we have dog-friendly Dunedin, and we have drive-friendly Dunedin. This is Dunedin Rides. And of course, as we all know, Dunedin has a reputation as a golf cart city. And so Dunedin Rides would provide free transportation, electric transportation on demand within the city of Dunedin. This would and could be easily a public-private partnership to accomplish this, but I really wanted to make sure this was a Dunedin thing and came from us. So just so you know the intent there. So what can this do? We started off the conversation today, and we talked about $250,000 going for parking. We have spent a lot of money on parking in the past. Somebody has to pay for parking. We've all talked about that before. Oftentimes, it's the person providing the service that does that. In our case now, we seem to be providing pretty much a lot of the parking, certainly in the downtown and within the CRA, the 217 acres that we have downtown here. But what would this do if we did something like this? This is on-demand transportation. This means somebody calls and says, hey, I would like to come within the boundaries of Dunedin. I would like to get picked up and be taken downtown and dropped off at ABC. And so that would then be accomplished. And then when they wanted to return, we would return them. That doesn't mean they just come downtown. It certainly would be a focus, but they can go wherever they like to go in downtown. So what does it do? This minimizes local traffic. Someone would say, how does that happen? Well, more than one or two groups could ride if you had, for example, an 8-passenger vehicle. And people would spend less time sort of wandering around, I guess. They would come right to a direct location. So I'm just going to go through additional points. Clean energy, minimize pollution. This is an electric vehicle. Lessen the need for expensive parking facilities. Ensures connections for public transportation. Ensures those needing Dunedin Cares have affordable transportation. Connect senior citizens to options within Dunedin. Provide transportation for those who may be challenged. Focus on community's business. If you wanted to ride, we're not taking you to Clearwater. We're not taking you to a pub in Clearwater. We're not taking you to a restaurant in Clearwater. We're taking you to, if you want to eat, we're going to take you to a restaurant in Dunedin if we can reach that restaurant. Some of this will be predicated on either whether federal or state or local laws. So it would also then be safety for those engaging a night of celebration within Dunedin. You can imagine that. Accelerate benefits, and it's an excellent benefit for all residents, directly and indirectly. Directly if you're using it, indirectly if it frees up some parking for you when you're coming down to use that parking. It's the cost per miles of this, for example, for operating the vehicle is pennies, just pennies. A greater sense of community, a sense of place. We would see those vehicles. People would see those vehicles, but people riding on those vehicles could get a chance of saying, hey, who are you? Well, I'm John. Well, I got picked up here and I'm going there. Some of that is proven by other organizations that have done something like this. It's a connection to our well-known walkable city. We talk about a walkable city, but you have to drive your car here and park it to walk it. And if your desire is to walk it, then let's not park it. Let's not park your car here. This past weekend, I'll give you an example. I was involved in the parking at an event, and you would be we would be very, very surprised to see how many people arrived one person in a car, also two persons in a car. Quite surprised. I was quite surprised. We parked those vehicles right in an area where people want to come. And something like this, and I'll describe that a little bit later, might assist us with that. Lessens traffic noise. We hear about that. No pollution. Lessens speeding. Supports community. A complete system, a multiple system, can help to improve the parking stock availability during busy times and/or special events. There could be two different subject matters dealt with there. It could improve the current situation for golf carts. We have golf carts and we have golf cart areas that, well, they're called non-golf cart areas because you could maybe ride around inside that area, but you can't get outside that area. And this perhaps would help us deal with that. Now we have low. I'm not going to get into all the definitions of the different types of vehicles.
No, the
but
purpose of this conversation
Sure.
is to decide how we want to move forward.
so we could turn CapEx, which is a business expression, CIP. We could turn that into even a variable expense, but also then perhaps just an expense, much like the parking garages are just expenses today. Once we go to build them, we have to pay to build them, and then we have to pay to take care of them. That's an expense also then, once we take care of them, but we don't have to build them. Again, this is for the benefit of everyone, and everyone hopefully will be able to see that. This may help us with understanding what the need of the parking is going to be in the future. I've said from this dais over the years that at some point in time, we may drive up to a restaurant, get out of the car, our restaurant will go home, our car will go home, and wait for us to call it back. Now, there are companies that can do that today. Tesla can do that today. And therefore then, I had done a study back in 2010 about parking lots, and I've talked about that. Some people may have heard that before. There's a city in Oklahoma where I believe the number is, there are 35 parking spots for every car. And that's because the city is broadly laid out. And so, for example, in this case, if a church needs 200 spots, well, they need it, but they only need it from Sunday for an hour, and the rest of the time it's just simply not used. This, as it relates to parking in the future, will give us a better view, perhaps, of what really we're going to need in the future, what kind of vehicles, et cetera. I would imagine as we electrify our vehicles, and we have not done that yet, we have a very small number of electrical vehicles, we may see all different versions of what this thing might look like or how it might work or the sizes of these as it really happens. In this particular case, we're all familiar with our EPIC goals. And so I used the word in a communication, and I said that that a transportation system within Dunedin that is accomplished. It accomplishes all and adds to all of our EPIC goals. And just quickly, it creates a vibrant culture, experience that touches the lives of our community and visitors and creates a visual sense of place throughout Dunedin, promotes Dunedin as a premier coastal community, protects our natural resources, be the statewide model of environmental sustainability, and enhance community relationships. And as we talked about, sense of place or meeting people when you do this. So what I was talking about here, and if there's no questions, I'd like to add a few more words, but we're talking about providing electric vehicle. We become an electric city, electric vehicle city. We call ourselves that. We're a golf cart city, so whether it depends on what kind of vehicles we want to use for this and how we want to proceed, but we do that as quickly as we can because we have parking issues today. In two cases, one, a normal parking day in Dunedin, we ran out of parking. Our one big parking garage filled up real quick because of a particular activity that was occurring. And then just currently, or just recently, we had an event that really stressed our parking and really stressed people. And stressed people as to how they were going to get in. And there was a solution to that. And the solution to that would have been something like this. I think it would be great for us to be a leader in this. Could provide connectivity to public transportation. Certainly could make sure that, again, seniors have the opportunity to get to areas or opportunities that we offer them just alone in the city of Dunedin. I think given the cost of fuel, et cetera, a lot of people do not have the capacity and will not be buying electric vehicles. And so we continue with the pollution, the noise, and the speed and everything else that's associated with that. So as we see what happens as we do our complete streets, where we're attempting in some ways to control traffic, control speed, to provide for a safer community, that's all off in the future. So having been waiting for years, and I was a big proponent of one of these little vehicles that would run up and down our street here autonomously, that's just not going to happen for a long time. And it's certainly not going to add or provide a solution for us. Certainly in the case that I saw in the city just recently when one event, I'm sorry, that was not an event, it was an activity that was occurring that really took up all of our city parking, not related to an event, and then just a recent event, which is not the event's fault. We gave them money, we supported the event, and we just really didn't have the parking. But we saw a solution. There is a solution for that if we did it properly. So what I'd like to do is to have us look into this as quickly as possible. This can be implemented rather quickly, particularly if you use a public-private partnership. I'm willing to answer any questions that y'all might have about this, but in concert with not only us observing what's happening and observing what might happen in the future and might not, and we may have to wait a long time for that, but knowing what's occurred, we know that we have the ARPA money. And in this particular case, I think it would make a resounding splash for a reputation for the city of Dunedin. It would take us to certainly some of these levels that we want to be in, called EPIC, these EPIC goals that we have, and would be immediately identifiable to all parties within Dunedin as they see our vehicles moving around through Dunedin. Perhaps starting out slow to see how it goes, but being able to really move it up quickly. So therefore, then that's what I had, and I have a whole lot more to say, but.
So how does this differ from Tiki Rides?
So a Tiki Ride's a great big vehicle. A Tiki Ride, Tiki runs on fuel. Tiki goes all over, and so you can continue to use Tiki, but we don't go all over. We run on electric. We're quiet. We're slow, and we stay within Dunedin.
I guess I mean, I hear what you're saying. I think we could, I do think we could work with Tiki Rides to get a different kind of vehicle, but I'm just not, they're doing kind of what you're talking about. And Jeff, and I don't remember the name of the service, but PSDA has an on-demand service as well.
Access.
North County, in North County, and it includes Dunedin, where you call and they come get you and they'll take you within a certain area, which includes Dunedin.
Almost no one that would ride this system here that I just talked about would use that. Almost no one.
But
Perhaps
that
some-
would cover our seniors, for
Perhaps some
sure.
of the seniors have tried it. I've brought the PSTA to both the seniors and the challenge group that we have. And I think we had very few riders that ever ended up using the system.
Do we know why they don't use it?
Yeah, I think it's just cumbersome, complicated, and perhaps overbearing for them. In fact, we suggested that if they could make sure that whoever's assisting them or helping them, that they could try to use that.
And the reason I asked John is because PSTA is actually very sensitive to that and any problems it might be having.
Yes.
And so if you can help me identify the specifics on what is so cumbersome, that would help PSTA, number one. And also, if we were to do something like what you're suggesting, we would have those same issues, right? That somebody has to call, somebody has to make an appointment. So it would help smooth out the process. So it's important that we identify, regardless of who's using what system, what any cumbersome parts of any process would be.
Yeah, this is much less of a process. The current ones that are out there today, and I was talking with the city manager about this, we'd have to have an app for this, but the app generally, you identify where you are, what time you want to be picked up, boom, and generally this if we did this, depends on how we do this. And I think there'd be two different sections of this. One is, and right now you're just asking questions about the regular one. That would be just normal transportation within Dunedin. That a lot of it is going to be on the weekends and it's going to be at night. Okay, that's where the person that's coming down to celebrate, and he doesn't need to take his car if he rides down here and knows he's got to ride back. So we'd have to work that out. But there's companies that have those apps today, and they work very smoothly. So I'm not trying to establish which system we would use here. I could give you my input or record, but I won't do that. But I'm just giving the idea that we have that kind of transportation here that provides the benefits that I talked about. Perhaps, and it depends on how many people would actually use it, perhaps really freeing up a lot of parking spaces within the downtown for people that know they're just going to downtown Dunedin and going home if we had the service when they wanted to use it.
And, is this in place, or is it actually the Looper idea? I guess with the app, it makes it more broad if you can get people to, if you can actually be picked up on the periphery of downtown. I was interested in public-private partnership. Would that be with merchants? Would that be with Mies Life? Would it?
So there's a number of ways you could set it up. Someone could form, or we could use a current 501c, whatever the number is. It wouldn't be a 501c3, but it would be something like that, a nonprofit organization. Whereas we may support them with money, and they may run the program. We may join up with an existing firm that does this and pay for everything, and let them do it with electric vehicles again in here that has experience in doing this. So any combination in between there and on down.
Is this actually, would it be under the infrastructure bill? Rather than ARPA per se, wouldn't that be under the infrastructure?
I think that if anything, it would be more under ARPA. The
Yeah,
Looper
you
will be
do.
under ARPA, this will be under ARPA, because it's a tourist-based, and we'd have to double-check that.
So let me just interject there.
Sure.
I think, and I mean, I so appreciate, John, you're trying to think outside of the box to how to solve these. It's kind of like me coming up with the parking sensor thing. There's all these different ways of trying to solve some of our issues, especially with parking. And I don't think we should dismiss your idea. I just think it's too soon for it. I think we're trying to figure out the Looper, which is strictly meant to be a downtown service so that you can park wherever you want, and the Looper will pick you up. You wait, if you want to park on Mies whatever and want to go down to Blair, you can do that on the Looper. And it goes to hotels, it goes to parking lots, and it just keeps making a circle, taking people where they need to go. And we have yet to have, we did do some research, but we've yet to have gotten that put together. We still don't have a parking or traffic planner to help us with this. We're also trying to work with PSTA on with the trolley to get the 30-minute service, which brings service in. We're also trying to work with MPO and PSTA on the ferry. And we do have an on-demand service from PSTA. If we wanted additional service in Dunedin, I think PSTA should provide it. That's their job, to provide it. And we get into that. I can see where they might not help us with the little looper in the downtown, but if it feels like PSTA, if we feel like we need more service in Dunedin to get people where they need to go, then we should be advocating for the transit service to provide that, which is kind of why they did the on-demand, right, Jeff? I mean, they did that back when I was sitting on the board, because North County didn't have as much service as South County for all the obvious reasons. We're not developed in that cross-street pattern that they can do down there. I think jumping into a service that's all over Dunedin and just for Dunedinites is probably the step you might want to consider after you get all of these other things in place to see the end result. Because it's extreme, and I don't think it would be inexpensive. I think it would be very expensive to do an on-demand service for our entire city. You'd have to have a ton of vehicles. I mean, you would. And I'm, you know, I mean, that's what PSTA has the problem. What do they have, 21% recovery?
I think so.
Something like that. Sometimes it's 18, sometimes it's 24, but around 21% recovery if we went into that business. So to me, I think we have to advocate to PSTA. If we feel that we need more people to be able to get on public transit, I think we need to go tell them this idea and talk to them about it and have them put together a plan. They're the experts in it, and say, what would it take for you to do this for us? I just feel I would be very cautious about, given that we already have these things in our business plan, I would be, that we can't even get to yet. I mean, the looper, this will be, what, the second or third year it's been in our business plan? We still we're not there yet. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I understand it.
You know, however, when I sat on the PSTA, and I chaired it 3 times, when they began the looper in St. Pete, the PSTA was big partners in
They
that
were.
looper. Big partners.
They were.
They were.
And I still think, and I did talk to Brad about it, it's Cassandra putting the squash on it, you know, she's the no girl. And I still think there's an opportunity for that. I don't disagree. But I would just be very concerned about, if we can't even get to the looper, how are we gonna get to a full citywide transportation group of, you know, that, and again, I don't disparage your idea. I think your idea is great. I think it would be great if we had this. I just don't think we're ready for it. I think we have to, I don't think we should be providing it. I think PSTA, just like I think PSTA should be paying more for the ferry, and I think they should go to 30-minute service on the trolley.
But then, again, you have a really elephant in the room, is when you're going to go for that transportation.
Surtax, yeah.
So that you can do some of these really
And
cool.
that's where we
I
need to
mean,
be really
very
advocating
innovative,
to
you
the
know,
county to get,
but,
go
until
do it.
we get that through so that we can really plow the money needed into transportation. I mean, you know, I've talked about this before. You go to Berlin, hello. I mean, you walk. I don't care where you are.
Yeah.
You can get a form of transportation instantly. Amazing. And they've got all forms. And, you know, until Tampa Bay really comes into its own sphere in multimodal transit, we will not be the iconic Tampa Bay we should be. And I've always said that.
Well, and if you remember how we started the trolley, and I know you all know the story of it, it was a partnership with PSTA. And we're still paying towards that partnership. And so even if there was a service that was partnered with PSTA that was for all of Dunedin, that we had to pay a certain percentage. I'm not saying that's a bad idea, but we're just trying to get them to do what we already have and do it better. And to help us with the looper and to do the 30-minute service with the trolley. And we can't get them to do that. But we never thought we were going to pay 100% or public-private partnership with the trolley. It was getting them to do their job better for the needs of our community.
John, I really like your idea of the electric, larger golf cart vehicle. I really like that. And it's, the app is sort of, it's shades of, oh gosh, what's the famous book? Where you're looking at the future, the grand future. And that's what you got to do. You got to dream, or we'll never get there. And so I believe what you're trying to do. And I think it is really thinking outside of the box. And I think maybe, you should address the elephant in the room with the county. When are we going to do it? When are we going to step up and do something? What was it, tax for, what was it?
Transit surtax.
Transit surtax. And
I will say, just to add to that, the PSTA or Forward Pinellas or both, the Advantage Pinellas transit plan does have 15-minute service on 580. It will take the trolley to 30-minute service here. And it would, and there is a component in there, although we just rewrote all the stuff, okay, on it. Waterborne transportation will be in there as well.
And what is this, Mayor?
The Advantage Pinellas transit plan. And that's what, before COVID, that's what they were bringing forward for the transit surtax.
as a referendum.
Yeah, and it's about this thick, but that's the stuff that's in there.
No, I was going to say 1984.
Yes, ma'am.
May I?
Yes.
As a result of some of the conversations that I had had with Commissioner Torga during our one-on-one meetings, where we talked about this idea, we did some preliminary research into because some cities have this type of a service. There's one called Slider. I think there's one in St. Pete called Beach Rides or something like that. It's a private company. They take tips. It's much like Tiki Rides. Exact same model. Their business plan sounds very exciting, actually. And so what I'd like to do, if it's all right with all of you, because the looper is in the business plan, and it's originally, I just wanted to let you know too, we did look at whether or not the city of Dunedin would be the owner of the looper, if you will, and operate the looper. And we did have Jerry Dubkowski do some preliminary work for us, and it was prohibitively expensive to run just that one if it's the city of Dunedin. So it has to be the private sector helping us in some way, shape, or form. I do have a meeting on my calendar in a couple of weeks with one of these companies. So what I would like to do is continue with that meeting, because in concept, I think that you like the idea. But the emphasis would be first and foremost on the looper, and see if we can get that route in place. And I think that what we would need to do is to take this business plan that this company has and sit down with PSTA and talk to them about it. How they could augment it or be a part of it, in partnership. And move forward with some sort of a more enhanced transit system. And one of the things that I've conveyed to the commissioner is that, it's not in the business plan. It would seem to be a large work effort.
Right.
But for the fact with these companies, they're more than willing to come sit down and talk to us. And so I would just like your permission to proceed with that, see what exactly it is that they're talking about, and keep the looper first and foremost, though, in that work effort.
And I'm fine with that. You all fine with that?
If I may, so the name of this company is Freebie, and I don't think they do take tips, but maybe they do, doesn't matter. But so we weren't talking about taking tips, and we're really talking about a different service than what you're talking about, and a lot of the people that I think would end up using this, they don't take the cars down here and are comfortable going home. They're just people from Dunedin.
Yeah.
I think it would this company only does electric vehicles. But they use a vehicle called the G, I think it's called the G. and it's used in 22 communities. So it's not used in its entirety, but it's used. And they're very helpful. I talked to them when I was with PSTA at one point in time at one of the big functions
Yeah.
that we went to. So this, as someone mentioned that we're too early, we're too late. I think we're too late. I think we ought to do this. I think this makes sense. And we don't have to kick it off citywide. There are grants. These companies are very familiar with those grants, how you get those grants. I appreciate your comment very much about looking into it. I think it makes total sense for us to look into it right now, and particularly in conjunction with the monies that we have now, especially since it meets all of our EPIC goals, in my opinion, and also it really spotlights on the electric side and solves issues even ahead of complete streets and ahead of whatever they wish to do for having loopers, et cetera. We've heard this, and we've heard this, and we've heard this, and meanwhile, nothing really sort of happens. And this could happen quickly. It would cost money, but it might relieve us from having to spend money as well.
The problem, though, too, is that we've already sort of given our blessing to what we're spending our ARPA money on. And we have 500,000 or 550 as a
Contingency.
contingency.
Mm-hmm.
The looper is in there. The ferry is in there. This is not in there. So, it's like, okay, and we're trying to figure out more money for the pool, so just to do the basics. So I'm just pointing out the roadblocks. I think what you're trying to get at, John, is really good. I'm not trying to say that it isn't. But I also think we've got to get our looper that we've been looking for 2 years or 3 years, whatever it's been.
No, 10 years. We've been
Oh,
talking
forever.
Well,
about
we've been
that
talking,
ever
we've
since
got to get that in
PSTA.
place, but I do think we can, if the company is a strong company, it's a company that can maybe expand at some point,
Did they use the apps? That one?
I have not had a chance to look into them enough.
do.
They did.
Yeah, and there's more than one. Really, though, I had wanted, this good discussion for all of you to make sure that you're on board with this before we proceed, because, with the looper component, when somebody comes in here, the first and foremost, the discussion's going to be, we need a looper. What can you do to help us? And then talk about, what they can do throughout the city as well. As we start to lose parking, as these sites go under construction, we're going to have to expand our periphery for parking. And the hospital's been very kind to us as far as providing additional parking. And so, that would be the function of the looper, first and foremost.
Well, and if you think about it, not to take us off topic, but it is about parking. I'm going to say when, assuming there will be a when, we start to build the garage at Scotland Street, right? That parking is going to be gone for 2 years, okay? That's currently there. If Ocean Optics develops at the same time, we're going to have a serious parking crunch. So having the looper in place at these extraneous places, so you just park here and somebody takes you down there, or park down, whatever, is going to help lift that burden. You saw how the burden of just cutting Wood Street in half was, right, for everybody? And, Zach was doing by the way, I'd like to know how that's going.
Valet parking.
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? So getting the looper, to me, is almost critical, because those two things are going to happen. They're going to happen, and they're likely going to cross each other's paths. So,
If
yes.
I may, I'm sorry. John, I can't thank you enough for bringing this forward. I am willing to talk about transportation anytime, anywhere. I've said it a billion times that we don't have a parking problem, we have a transportation problem. And I think all of the conversation that I've heard here today falls under the multimodal plan. And that's why I'm a big fan of plans. so that we have, because you can never solve you can't solve any problem with a one solution approach. To solve a transportation problem, to solve a parking problem, it's going to take multiple prongs to try and figure it out. And that's why it's multimodal. It's a variety of things. And so I think I would welcome this discussion, continue this discussion under the form of the multimodal plan. So we can talk about the looper, we can talk about it. We can talk about Skinner and the complete street. And while we're talking about that right now, because that's going to be designed and implemented, we should also be discussing where's the next one. Instead of celebrating the one we have, it's where are we going from here, and that constant forward thinking.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the looper, it's not just John's plan and what he's suggesting. It is bicycles, and I know not everybody's going to ride a bicycle, not everybody's going to walk, and that's why it's multimodal. It's equitable forms of transportation, and it's moving people from one place to another. I don't know that everybody won't have an electric vehicle. I would hope that everybody does have an electric vehicle. But if we just transfer everybody from their combustion vehicle to electric, we still have the same number of cars on the road. So that doesn't solve the problem. It reduces our carbon footprint, but it doesn't help our transportation, congestion, parking issue. And so it's not just changing everybody to EV, but it's thinking small. It's thinking, how can we reduce to golf carts, to bicycles, to pedestrian walking? We seem to have this fear of walking. I can run 2 miles last night, and you're going to say, good for you for running. But if I tell you I walked 2 miles, you'd say, oh, I'm sorry, you should have given me a call. I would have taken you someplace. And so we've got this absolutely adverse feeling about walking anywhere. But if you go to any urban area, there's talk about going to Toronto, and that's all you do in Toronto is walk everywhere.
Well, Berlin, you walk a lot too,
And
and my
you walk
son's
a lot.
there,
And
so that's
so
where I'm going with it.
that is a thing for those people who can walk. I know that the demographics on where we are, right, kind of elderly population and things of that nature, walking isn't for everybody. So that's why, again, it has to be multimodal. So, John, I thank you for bringing this forward. This is the way we should be thinking. And so I think we should continue this conversation all the time. That was one of the reasons why I had Bob talk about the cost of the parking. You know, that we just went through a huge discussion on paid parking, and that failed. And so if the residents don't want to pay for parking, they should know the consequences of that, and the consequences are the city has to pay for parking. And so that's expensive. So if we don't want to spend it on that parking, then what are we going to do? And John's solution is certainly admirable. It's what we should be talking about. We should be talking about complete streets and bicycles and things of that nature. And we should be thinking about the generations to come, not just the generations that are living today. And so, Jennifer, I think it's a good idea that you attend that meeting and get an idea. Any idea from anybody about improving transportation is a wonderful thing, and I welcome it. So those are all the comments that I wanted to make.
And I think we need to get PSTA involved in those meetings, because they are the certified transportation planners, transit planners. And I think they could be, if nothing else, of assistance to say, yeah, what they're telling you isn't going to work, or what they're telling you is on board, or the costs that they're showing. You know, use the experts that you've got available. And I know that they, even if it's on a Zoom call, you know, they could probably even help you if at some point we did an RFP to put out there for what we're looking. They would be able to help you write it, to what to ask for, given that, you know, and let's face it, ARPA would, out of our contingency, if we need to, get a project manager for some of this stuff, you know? Which might help, because, I mean, the only reason we haven't tackled it up till now is we had 2 years of a pandemic, and, you know, everybody's stressed with just the basic every day, and we have to move past that. So if somebody utilizing PSTA, and, you know, you can certainly talk to them, and they also have New Starts grants, and I'm not using the right, they've changed the name of it, but that's that's what helps start new transit stuff. So people can help us get that stuff.
And Mayor, if I may, and I'll make this quick, I know right now Mo isn't here because she's at a resiliency summit. And I've been trying to talk to a lot of people, and if y'all can help me with this, because I think we should also be having a transportation summit. This isn't just a Dunedin problem. This isn't just a county problem. It's a region problem. And we've got to be serious. I know that we're all serious about transportation in our own little cubbies, but we really need to come together and acknowledge, as a region, we have a transportation problem. And how are we going to solve that? And in having those conversations, having experts come in and educate us on what other cities are doing, that's also publicly talking about our transportation problem, which hopefully will add support and kind of encourage the county to move towards the tax they need to move toward. The referendum. And because without that, all of a sudden it's going to come before the voters without much discussion. And I know that there will be discussion, but you know it's going to shock the public. And what we should do is we should be publicly having these conversations now so that it isn't a shock to the system. Everybody's well aware of the problems and the potential solutions and what we want to do with any tax referendum that we get. And so if you can talk to your counties out and about, just anybody, to form a transportation summit and bringing in experts in those fields, bicycling, walkability, public transit, all those, and just what other wonderful cities are doing wonderful things that we can incorporate in our region would be fantastic.
So I'd like to make a comment, if I may. Easy, John, easy. The focus of today was Dunedin, and we've got a problem, and we just pointed it out, and I can continue to do that and give other examples, and I appreciate you bringing up what you talked about. These folks, any one of these folks can solve this right now. They know how to do this. If you just gave them the money, they'll do this for you.
You can say that about you can say that about loopers too, can't you? You can.
Yeah.
So
if
It's
you
all
give,
about throwing
if you
money
give
at it.
PSJ money.
This has a looper program in it, okay? So you're running up wherever you want to do it, and you just have to coordinate it. So if you're going to be using a parking area, then you have to establish when it is. I've got them all written down here, okay? So if you're going to use I'll just say something silly. So we're going to use a school for an event that's taking place at the community center, okay? Then we know that we're going to be running a lot of people quickly where they're going to go. Just at that time period, just during that time period, then that's done. If you're going to be doing that on overflows for parking, if you have that, if it continues to have that, if you're not having people ride up, one of the issues that I'm trying to approach here is how do we really get a lot of people to use this thing? Because then if, as opposed to having just as an example, as opposed to having $4 million in a piece of property and $2 or $4 million in a building that goes on there, and then the continuation of that building when we don't really know what's going to happen in 5 or 10 years from today with cars, that's all solved for the next 16 years with that money. So for Dunedin, I understand we have bigger problems, but I'm trying to look at what Dunedin has. Dunedin has a problem, has had a problem, and we're now going to, and we're now I just gave 2 examples that just happened within the last 30 days here, and they were bad. And whether people are going to be excited about riding in loopers, if that's really, that we use that as an example, we've been waiting for that. We're going to get bumped more up in the bureaucracy, excuse me. That's why I said easy, John. But a public-private partnership can resolve, and we can test this. We could test it and see what it really does for us. But there's enough communities that have done something like this, and I'm just sitting back watching and saying to myself, guys, we're too late already. We should implement this as quickly as we can. So I know.
Can I talk to that piece, the testing piece? Because that's, that's the way we originally approached the trolley back in 2010 or 11 when we brought it on. Our approach was to do it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every hour service. And after 4 or 5 years, we went to 7-day-a-week service because we proved that it was workable. Now we're trying to get that 7-day-a-week service to 30-minute. But look at that amount of time and look at how the baby steps of the testing. Same with the ferry. The ferry is only going to run, I think, same, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 90-minute service. But it's going to be interchangeable. But again, they're not jumping in because at first I was like, I want better service than that. We deserve better service than that. But again, it's about taking the baby steps. To baby step a service that goes all around Dunedin is going to be, I mean, for a test, it's going to be really expensive. So I think we have to decide exactly what we want that to do. I do think you sitting with the Looper idea and then finding out what their other capabilities are, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yes.
Isn't a bad thing. You know, but I do think we have to, you know, crawl before we leap in how we do it. But I do understand everything that you're saying, John, absolutely. And in a perfect world, I'd be all over it.
Well, you're in Dunedin, a perfect world. No, I'm kidding.
So what I'd
Thank
like-
you, thank you, thank you, everyone.
So are we going to have a workshop?
No, what I'd like to do, if I may, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, is meet with this service.
ask some of the questions.
Right, and there's been some preliminary questions, and then I asked George to be included in the next meeting. Wanted to have this discussion on the dais, and I think we have consensus direction. I can return to you during city manager's update or informational items or something like that with some of our findings, and then we'll decide on steps moving forward. But my direction is very interesting concept. Would like to, with emphasis on the Looper, and look at what else this company or any company is capable of doing with emphasis on, we want these vehicles to be electric. And certainly service, as I said before, the downtown, and then, you know, because I don't think a company's going to come in and say, we'll give you one. You know, I think they're going to say, we have a fleet and we want to,
Well, they're going to have to.
Right.
Even just for the Looper. If
Right.
you want to have every 15 minutes going by a parking lot or going by a hotel, you know, the hotel, the Fenway, the Holiday Inn, the Best Western, blah, 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 just a complete circle, Gateway when it's built, you're going to have more than one vehicle. Or people will be standing around and they're not going to get in it.
right.
You also don't have to test all of Dunedin. You wouldn't have to. I mean, there's other options in there, just so nobody's presupposing anything.
I think
So-
we should get the Tiki Ride ridership information. I'm sure they can provide it, because, I mean, they are doing that. They are an on-demand service that is tip-oriented, and maybe we can get them to tell us, I mean, we have an agreement with them. So I think asking them for stats, where are they going? What are they, you know, what's their response time? How many people are they picking up? And what are the days? I mean, that in itself will give you sort of maybe a formula of what's working and what might not work.
Certainly we can do that.
I mean, I know it's not an electric vehicle, but it is the service,
Right.
you know.
Can I join that meeting with this company you have coming in?
It's not typical that preliminarily that a commissioner would sit in on a meeting like that.
And I like including Tiki Rides, and you can actually also, not in that same meeting, but actually talk with them about
Yeah.
how is their business and what are their future plans? And, you know, is it sustainable enough to incorporate electric vehicles, even for the one they have, right? At what point would they switch over to electric?
I agree.
But
I think-
having the meetings, I think, is a wonderful idea.
Well, I know, but my question again was, then after you acquire some of this information, then how are we going to sort of have a chance to talk it over unless you put it on a workshop or agendize it or something?
Oh, you just told us. You said you're going to bring it back under commission or city manager
City manager's
update
update
or,
or informational items when we're ready to put a package together.
I don't think it's a formal thing. You're just going to give us the information as to what
Correct.
you guys are seeing
Correct.
out there, right?
Yes.
But then the process.
Then we would say,
Then at
okay, we want to
that
bring it.
process, then at that time, that everybody has a chance individually to
Right.
look at all the information And then someone could definitely say, we'd like to agendize this in a workshop or something.
I forgot George was a transportation planner.
Yes,
No, it's good.
an MPO transportation
Yeah,
plan.
yeah, so he'll get it.
Yeah,
He'll get it.
yeah. And then at the workshop, I mean, if this has legs, and after, we're looking at their business plan, that's what I really want to look at, we could bring whatever company does this type of thing as well for additional information. But this is very good direction from the commission, and I feel comfortable with staff's efforts that they've been authorized.
Okay. All right, thank you, John. Does anybody else have any commission discussion items? You said you did,
I know,
right?
I'm sorry, but I just, this was just, came up on Facebook, and you know, property insurance was not addressed at the legislative
Right.
level.
And they're going back.
They're going to go back, and we're already seeing people that are having difficulties with Citizen. They're having difficulties with people saying, well, we can't insure you unless you put on a new roof. We're seeing difficulties in finding insurance for their homes. And so I would like to, if indeed they're going to call this special session, and I know Nicole and we've really been actively tracking legislation, I would like to ask if we could send a letter to our representatives or wherever you think it's appropriate to send it and say, we have got to address property insurance for our citizens and all of our citizens. And, you know, I do want to clarify this because there was a little confusion. Property insurance is not within our purview. That is not something we do here at a local level. It is a legislative action. True or false? I need that.
But we do get ratings that are supposed to
We do,
help.
and that's how we help, is
Right.
with our FEMA adherence.
And our ratings are good.
And our ratings are very good, and so we try to help them keep. But now it's becoming a real crisis throughout the state. And, you know, if we could send a letter, I'm sure maybe other entities, municipalities, local governments would perhaps also consider sending a letter and saying, you know, if you're going back into session, address it.
I seem to, I'm fine with that. I seem to remember that the mayor's council took this up a couple of months ago before the end of the session and sent something off.
Well, I mean,
But I don't remember. I have to go back and look.
but do you all have any issue with it?
No.
Oh, good idea.
No.
I mean,
No, I agree.
it's, you know,
It
and
is
I'm not
critical.
trying
They
to,
should have taken it up in the first place.
I'm not trying to bounce the issue off and say it's not within our purview, but
No.
it's not. I mean, so the way we can do it is to get the word out that we're hearing it from all of our citizens. And you know, if we're hearing it, everybody's hearing it.
Yeah.
We're also coming up on hurricane season, June 1st. So, you know, that I'd just like to, you know, you all are involved in different entities, and let's get some sort of, you know,
Sure.
united approach to really saying, we've got to deal with this.
Everybody okay with that? Letter?
We will send it.
Anything from you, commission discussion? Okay. City clerk's update, anything? Okay. City manager update, anything? All right, Nikki, you're on.
Okay, great. And yes, you're correct. They've already been called back into a legislative session. So when they go back, they can address pretty much any topics, even though they try to draw people back by addressing two of the most prominent topics. One was insurance and the other was building code updates in the wake of the collapse in
Oh, my
Surfside.
gosh, yeah.
My update, though, was different. I just wanted to give the commission a brief update and report on the direction that you had provided to perform some diligence looking into the property records of the St. Francis of Assisi Old Catholic Church, with the intent of perhaps considering moving forward with an application for historic preservation, which requires notice to the owner. The St. Francis of Assisi Old Catholic Church actually leases the church from what we reported in our initial Discovery is a defunct trust, meaning all of the trustees have passed. The Church of Christ, which is the owner of the church, has no known national denomination. There is a statutory procedure that the Catholic Church could go through to clear up this issue, but that's really stepping further into the private aspects with regard to ownership of this property beyond giving notice with regard to a historic preservation application. There are methods for giving notice by publication for formal service of process when you are initiating a court proceeding. Obviously, a historic preservation application is not a court proceeding. However, if the commission wanted to move forward with a historic preservation application, that's the only process that I can look to have any support for how you could give notice to a defunct, non-existing entity. The risks associated with that, and I'm aware, by the way, my office has spoken to all of the several private attorneys throughout Dunedin that have tried to help the church with their title issues from different perspectives. And in two, it fell apart because of objections by trustee descendants. So I'm not sure that no one would poke up through that process and say that they objected to the historic designation or objected to on the basis of these ownership issues. But I wanted to report back, we've been trying to minimize our time to both the initial expense of $85 and then our minimal review well under the city manager's authority. But I just wanted to report back at this time because we're kind of at a crossroads. We can move forward with doing notice by publication, but understand you are sort of flying without a parachute. Or, we can report back that unfortunately this is highly a private issue as to how the trust and the current tenant in the Catholic Church work through this. I do know that, and I've worked with real property deals with the Catholic Church on the other side for other communities, and I know that they have legal counsel. So I'm not sure why they're not stepping in to assist the church in this manner, but we do need to be mindful of the city's role and the public purpose involved here. And it's really not a city service to help property owners deal with private issues with regard to their ownership and their chain of title. That's kind of where we are.
As you say, you could do public notice, like in the papers, right, that you see all the time? Is that what you're talking about?
It's an affidavit process that you have to do an affidavit of diligent search and then a publication. And that's typically used to obtain service of process for official court proceedings. So it's really something that would be better used by the Catholic Church to initiate that statutory proceeding to deal with the fact that they have a lease from what's considered an extinct or defunct trust. They have a statutory procedure that they can utilize with the courts. We don't actually have a court proceeding, so you'd be using a statute that's aimed at starting a court proceeding and getting a court jurisdiction over a party that can't be found, but yet, the HPAC isn't a court, you're not a court, so it's kind of using a fish out of water.
So I guess what you're saying is,
They need to solve their trust issue first.
well, have we told them that? Have we
My
been able
understanding
to-
is they have been told this several times, and that's why they were asking, well, is there anything the city can do to help? And the city has now invested some resources into looking at what it could do to help, but this is truly a private issue at its core. I mean, the city, if it wants to move forward with an HPAC designation, it would be doing so with the understanding that there are ownership issues here. There is a long history of disputes, and while there's different ways the church might look at being able to resolve those disputes without them being resolved, if the commission were to move forward with an application, you could.
Very well have people come forward that say,
Yeah.
we have objections to this.
Or
Descendants
point out
of-
that you don't really have an owner here, and we'd have to say, yeah, you're right, but we still want it to be a landmark, and here's how, it is just designation of a landmark, but I know, and Commissioner Freeney's not here today, but there were other questions that were being asked to commissioners about, well, how can we make it so that we can submit permits, all these things, those are all real private issues. I'm sure there's hundreds of properties in Dunedin right now that might have an ownership dispute, such that the person then has to figure out what they need to do before they can do permits and things like that. But that's really not a city function to step in and say, we're not going to figure out everyone's ownership disputes so that they can submit permits to the city. I mean, that's something you'd have to do and treat fairly to every property owner. Everyone's similarly situated within the city of Dunedin, and that's really why, at some point, the public interest in this becomes the commission wanted to consider designating it as a historic landmark. We've tried to find a path forward that you could sort of do that, but understand with all these ownership disputes, you are likely to still run into one. So the preferred method would be for the church to fix their title issues and then come to
Which
the
you say
city.
can be done.
There is a statutory process that allows for churches to do that.
So it's just.
And not any
a matter of Getting
nonprofit.
an attorney,
Or any nonprofit.
Mayor-
to guide them through it.
The conversations that I've had with Father Bob were really along those lines, that the next steps are going to be a private issue, in order to resolve. And I think that from his perspective, because he's relatively new to this issue,
Sure.
right, is he just want to know what the next step is. And if the next step is take up that statute and move forward, then that's the next step. I conveyed to him that it's not really any longer in the public domain, but it's a private issue, and he acknowledged that and said that essentially that he had folks in his congregation who are willing to take that up.
So you've given everybody notice, and they know with the legal, and are you going to
Father
put
Bob
that?
has talked with my office directly, like long conversations.
Mm-hmm.
We've tried to minimize those to
Yeah.
keep it pointed, but yes, that's my understanding is, this has all been explained, and it is it's probably why there are statutes to deal with it, but why the appropriate people to utilize those are the private parties that are involved.
Through the diocese or
Mm-hmm.
something, okay.
Or their congregation.
Right.
Congregation, yeah. Okay, well, are you going to put that in writing? Have you already put it in writing, Nikki, or you're going to?
I think she just gave it to us.
I was trying to give back a report. If you all would like me to prepare something in writing, we'll do that, but I'm also trying to be mindful of the public
Of the-
resources here.
okay,
So I'm
okay.
trying to keep, if I prepare a report, we can do that, but then that's gonna be an additional hourly cost. So
Okay,
I'm
the
wanting to
only-
always keep that in mind when the commission, asks for things.
The only, I like things in writing, you know that. But I understand that we're using resources to try to figure out how we could help do this, or whether, who was really on first with this issue. So,
I'll prepare a short email to the commission, just summarizing that it, is a private issue and and closing out the matter. So it won't be
With the applicable statute.
right.
so, and you've talked, so, I just want
Nothing else
everyone
we
to
can
know that where we are.
And we even reached out, Commissioner Kynes, gave us some names of some attorneys who had looked at this over the years. It was very helpful to round out the historical, information. So I appreciate everything that you all have done to try to, take this as far as the city really could.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No, thank you for your time this morning.
All right, commission comments. Vice Mayor? Any liaison?
Garden party's Sunday.
This Sunday?
Brigadoon.
Is it really?
Yeah, Brigadoon. So, and then I know the Historical Museum is working very hard to continue to look at their 40th anniversary party, which is going to be coming up of the Historical
When is that?
Society. Well, I don't think they've exactly said it.
Like a
but
month? Do you know what month they're trying
I
to shoot?
don't
Okay.
yet, but I know that that's high on there to celebrate that.
Yeah.
And then also, they're looking, I sort of read through the minutes, and it looks like they're looking at trying to do some sort of historic house tour maybe next year, which would be
Nice.
excellent, because then, if you think about it, you could use some of the stock of these wonderful homes that have voluntarily been designated.
Right.
Would be excellent. So that's sort of where we are with my liaisons.
Okay. Commissioner?
PSTA just voted to adjust the employee contracts,
Saw that.
and PSTA employees are now the highest paid public transit employees in the state of Florida.
Good.
And I do think that's something to brag about. I think that's wonderful. And so things are moving forward there.
I was shocked to see that April Murphy's still there. It's like, man, I would have thought she would have retired by now. Just one tough cookie.
She is, she
Yeah.
is.
So that's good news.
That is
Very good
wonderful
news,
news,
yeah.
right? And I guess we all heard about the 18 million that they received that's going to go towards electric buses. And so that is wonderful. So good things are happening. They are having challenges. We talked about access and on-demand. They were having challenges with their customer service and actually pretty sad survey ratings and things of that nature, but they are strongly focused on that. And so hopefully that'll be rectified, because that is part of our future transportation, current and future.
Okay.
So that's it.
Thank you. Commissioner Twanga?
Just a quick comment. Has anyone heard of the new neighborhood electric vehicle? It's an interesting, neighborhood electric vehicle. Cool. Electric vehicles are hot. Anyway, I have nothing else.
What
Okay.
is that? Okay, I'm biting.
A whole new designation. and-
Google.
So we're looking at a neighborhood concept here. So we're gonna see a lot different versions coming up, I think relatively soon.
Well, I know in Georgia, there's a golf cart city
Absolutely.
where
For-
everybody,
for
they even
15,
showed,
20
they
years.
they showed videos of the high school, and the high school is all
Yeah.
golf carts.
That's cool.
So it is pretty cool.
Okay, I'm just going to give you the rest of the numbers that I was told about the Highland Games. As everybody knows, it was a great week last week. We had our visitor from Sterling, Caroline Mathers.
Oh, she was wonderful.
She's in Miami now.
And the painting is so beautiful. Everybody go see that painting, please. It's at the DFAC now.
Yeah, it's going to be, it's really, it was just a great week.
She was
And
wonderful.
obviously, we want to thank all the different organizations that were a part of it and all the volunteers that made it happen. And, you know, it's the best week of the year to show our Scottish heritage, you know, so I was really happy. So I did ask Eric about the competitions and how do we fare, and I'm just going to read what he said. Piping and drumming solos went very well. Out of all the grades, about half of overall aggregate winners were Dunedin. So that's good.
That's wonderful.
In the bands, our grade 4 won in a very tight contest. The grade 3 band performed with incredible determination in a torrential downpour and finished second against a very impressive Thomas school band. He said, but my favorite moment of the day when the grade 3 band struck up to play and marched in during the rain. The dedicated crowd on the bleachers erupted cheering on the home team. When they were finished, soaked, the crowd huddled in tents all around the field, cheered and screaming, "Go Dunedin." It was pretty awesome.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So it was a really good week. I'm still recuperating.
And just to add to that, Mayor, just an idea of how broad-reaching the games are, is they actually had competitors. You mentioned St. Thomas, and they're from Texas. They had 2 bands that they brought with them. Pennsylvania, there was a pipe band from Pennsylvania, there was a pipe band from Long Island. And so these were bands that
St. Augustine.
drove days. St. Augustine was there, and then throughout the state of Florida. So this isn't
I thought I
just,
saw something from Durham, too. I don't know, it seems like I saw that on a drum somewhere.
so this
From where?
isn't just.
Durham.
Durham, North Carolina?
So this isn't just, local pipe bands having a day. I mean, this is a national thing, international, so it's very cool.
Well, and I think everybody's just getting back to the idea of traveling.
Well, I think we should thank the CVB for that 25,000.
For sure.
That was a really nice, very nice addition.
Well, and now, speaking of them, they have a new category. Well, it's going to the county commission, so the TDC has approved it, but the county commission still has to approve it. 2 things that you should be aware of. One is elite events. So their categories had been pretty narrow on what constituted as elite events, and it used to be like there was 3 of them, and they all required a certain number of room nights. then, as time went on, they added a fourth category that was cultural and didn't require room nights. And that was actually the category that Highland Games went in under, even though they actually had enough room nights. And then, now we have 5 categories, and there is still that cultural whatever that doesn't require room nights. But there is also, and that's up to a $25,000 grant. There's also another one, I don't know if it's 25 or 15, now that we've added for brand-new events. And so when, kind of like when the Mardi Gras started, they would be able to go to the CVB and get a micro grant, if you will, to start their event. And it would only go on for maybe 3 years just to get their event going. So this is really good stuff because it's going to fuel a lot of stuff all through the county. And it all comes from bed tax money. So most of us that live here are not paying for that. So that's really exciting. It'll help communities, it'll help event promoters. The other thing that they're bringing back at our last meeting, we discussed it. Steve Haynes, the director, our CEO of Visit St. Pete Clearwater, has been working on their strategic plan. And we got our second update. And one of the things that they've been seeing over and over and over again on all the different surveys and personal interviews and all of that is that, and even in their surveys at things like Highland Games, two big things that people say we need more of. Transportation and parking. Because as I told you, a lot of travelers come in with a car, they need to find a place to park.
94%?
Yeah, 90-some%, it's crazy.
Will CVB be involved in partnerships that might go to
Yeah.
giving money to
Well,
address
that's
those
what we're gonna
problems?
talk. We're gonna talk now, which is huge, because for 2 or 3 years now, at least 2 years, I've been advocating since the legislature adjusted what you can use this money for. You can now use it for infrastructure things that promote tourism. And we have surveys that say the 2 complaints are transportation and parking. So while it's not, do you think people are going to come to Pinellas County because we have transportation? No. But, so we're getting lots of attorney opinions on all of this. But yes, we're finally going to have the conversation. And everybody agreed to it. After 6 months ago, I couldn't get anybody to even discuss it. So I think lots of people have been putting pressure in the right places. Let's just put it that way, and I'll leave it at that, and I'll take no responsibility for it. But this is a good thing because there could be things. One of the things I've put out there is waterborne transportation. We're going to have to buy more boats to do that. It's not the operation side of it, but if we can get the Visit St. Pete Clearwater to buy the boats, and we can get the county to put in 50% of the operating, that brings all of our costs down and makes it happen a lot quicker, right? Versus a penny, which who knows? Same with the trolley. We need to get that to 30-minute service. Well, if they're going to get it to 30-minute service, again, not the operations part, they're going to have to buy more trolleys because it's doubling the service, right? If we can get them to pay for more trolleys, well, now the only piece we have to do is solve the who pays for the operations, which, by the way, it should be PSTA's still 50%, but just saying. So nobody's agreed to it yet, but that's the next conversation. So I'm really excited, and we'll see. That's all I think I have right at the moment.
I did have a question for
Sure.
Rebecca and maybe Nikki. I saw something that we have been asked to provide information for the CRA, a new sunshine provision. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
It was in my emails.
Well, it might be in one of my many unread emails because
So
I didn't think it was a
guess my-
priority.
My question is, Rebecca, so it called for commissioners too, to give proof of how much we make, I guess, if we get any. I'm just saying, what do we need to do?
I'm not sure if you want to forward me the email. I don't know what you're referring to.
Yeah, I don't even know if I've seen that.
I couldn't have dreamed it.
If you want to forward me the email, then I can look with some specifics of what your question is, but I'm not sure, and I can't look anything up right
Yeah,
now.
no,
'cause my
I'm not.
computer just
I
died.
I was just trying to figure out what we may need to do, but perfect. I will
If you want to
forward it.
forward me the email that you received, we'll take a look at it.
I've been getting some strange emails, so I guess it's a real email.
If you want, go ahead and forward it in. I don't know if,
It's New Sunshine.
I just got a text from Mo.
It's the public records request that's already been taken care
Oh, you've already done that?
Yes.
So,
Oh, is a public records request?
of. It
oh,
was just a list of salaries and such, if I'm going off memory rather quickly.
Oh.
Janice just texted me.
and she
that's
said,
already been taken care of.
okay, great,
So-
we don't even have to worry about it. But I didn't dream it up.
No, you didn't.
Salaries, that was a very.
that sounds just
So I-
like
That was a
it
very
was
short
gathering
request.
records in response to a public records request.
Correct,
Good
yes.
job.
So when,
Yeah, great job.
when I found out, when I spoke with Mo yesterday about her not being here, I asked her what time she thought we should be at the lunch, because it's in our calendars at noon, but I remember doing this before, and we always had to be there around 11:30. So she split the baby with the bath water and said be there at 11:45.
And just to acknowledge that tomorrow is National Tartan Day, so.
Are you wearing
I'll
your
be
tartan?
wearing it, yeah.
I guess I could wear my, I have very little to go with those colors. It's always a problem every year. And she said that we do have, she thinks we have 2 tables for all of us together, so. Alrighty. Good luck for tomorrow, right? It's gonna be a good day, I think. All right, thank you, everybody. We are adjourned.
Thank you for watching this City of Dunedin government meeting. If you'd like to review any part of this meeting or watch any previous government meeting coverage, you can watch these meetings online anytime through the city's website, dunedingov.com. Stay connected with everything Dunedin. Follow the city on this channel and on the city's Facebook page, through Twitter, and on the city's YouTube channel. Thanks again for watching this Dunedin television production.